let me share with you the number one thing, the key thing that you want to understand if you've been feeling like your life is not going the way you want. Maybe you've been working really hard on overcoming a marriage that failed. Maybe you've been working really hard on meeting the challenges, whatever they are. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed and burned out all the time between your job and your home, and you're trying to make changes, but you can't seem to break those patterns. This is the number one thing. And I think most people don't understand how powerful this is in your life. It's your subconscious. So we think we're making our decisions with our conscious thoughts. So our conscious thoughts are things like, should I listen to Linda today in this video? What am I going to make for dinner? How am I going to respond to that email? Should I say yes to that person? Whatever it is. Those are your conscious thoughts. What your brain is doing consciously is only about 5% of what your brain is doing. Are you conscious of how you think? The other 95% of what your brain is doing is subconscious. It's below your conscious level. So think of like, I'm sure you've seen this, a picture of an iceberg, right? So on top of the water, the ice that you see is maybe this big, if you're looking at a picture, and then here's the water. And then below the water is a huge, much bigger chunk of ice below the water. That's your subconscious. Your subconscious will tell your conscious what to do. So if you're not addressing your subconscious, if you're not understanding how your subconscious makes choices, it will keep telling the conscious part of your mind, make that choice. Go ahead, say yes or no to that. But what's driving that is all of your past stored memories. So when I'm working with clients, people come and they'll be like, I've been in therapy for years and years, or I've done all of these self-help books, or I've, really been working. I listened to this podcast. But they're doing all that work in their conscious mind, right? You are not aware of your subconscious. By definition, it's below your consciousness level. So trying to do work on your own, like reading a book and then trying to do it, doesn't really move people forward very much. Sometimes they get a couple of new different habits, or they get some insights, some ahas, but they don't really change their life. And they've been doing that for years and years. Even with therapy, a lot of therapy, and I know there's different kinds, and I am not knocking therapy at all, but when people come and say, how did I shift this in 2 weeks when I've been going to therapy for years and we never did this? It's because therapy oftentimes is going over and over and over with you what's in your conscious mind. And that's only 5% of what's going on. And it's not really driving your life. Your subconscious is driving your life. It is. So understanding what are the things in the background that tell you consciously what to do, that's where you've got to go to work. That's where, and honestly, that's why it's so difficult to do it by yourself, because you can't see your own blind spots, right? When you're driving a car and you're about to change lanes, you put the blinker on, you're ready to change, and all of a sudden there's a horn. Like, stop. There's a car right there, and you're like, oh my God, I did not see that car. That's your blind spot. Much of what's driving you is in the blind spots of your subconscious. You're not going to be able to see it yourself. It's like trying to read a label on a jar, but you are inside the jar. You can't read what's on the label. You need someone out there reading it. So let me see if I can give you an example. Everything that's ever happened to us, everything, even if you have no memory of it, it's all stored in the subconscious. It's like a data file folder. It's picture a filing cabinet or on the computer, one of the folders on your computer. It's all stored in there. It's all stored in there. And when something occurs today in your life, something happens, a conversation with someone, a decision is made, action is taken, whatever it is, your subconscious is constantly matching that to what does this feel like in the past? What does this remind me of? What emotions are similar from my past to what just happened now? And then it drives you to make your decision. So even if you've said, like, let's just say you're burned out, stressed, overworked, and you said, I'm going to take more time for myself. I'm going to be balanced, or you want to start a diet, or you're whatever it is. And you make these conscious decisions and you set out a strategy and you start to do that. And then all of a sudden you find yourself like saying yes one more time to the thing that you know is going to leave you stressed, but you can't help it. You just need to say yes. Or you find yourself off your strategy. It's because the subconscious takes over. When your conscious mind, that 5%, and your subconscious mind, the 95%, are not in agreement, your subconscious will always, 100% of the time, win. This is neuroscience. This isn't Linda making this up. This is neuroscience, okay? A lot of the training that I've had is in neuroscience. And you can go and find experts, Andrew Huberman out of Stanford. You can go and find a lot of experts in neuroscience who are going to confirm this. The subconscious will always win. So if your conscious and your subconscious are not agreeing with each other, so consciously you want something different. You want a different kind of relationship. I don't want someone who never listens to me. I don't want someone who's going to abandon me. You want something different, but your subconscious meets someone and it feels very much the same as all the other relationships. It feels familiar. You start to spend more time there. The subconscious says, yeah, I know you said you don't want this, but we like how this feels. This is familiar. And it will have you choose. And the next thing you know, you're like, how did I get in here again? How did I wind up with another version of the same problem? Whatever that problem is. So understanding your subconscious is huge. And it's very difficult to do by yourself because it's below what you can consciously see. I think I made that point, right? Getting to the root of that is really a huge part of what I do with my clients. So if you want to have more information about that, if you want to really understand how that's playing out in your life, and you think you're ready to have partnership and stop spinning your wheels, trying to read your own labels from inside your jar, drop me a comment so that we can connect and talk about what's possible for your life. Have a good day.